amount of people who meet me on the street and say the same thing. That for years now they're anxiously waiting to hear a little something from the king. From little children to teacher, musician to blogger to Christian on Sunday morning. From Tivana to Julie, I t-shirt to Shari, me fans them pleading to me. Everybody! 10,000 patriots in St. Kitts-Nevis. Can't be wrong. Konris, no time, no how. When we saying that we want you. What? On the staging song, you have the magic to make us jump again. You ready? You ready? You ready? Let me hear you sing to the top of your voice. The man for number 3, sing a song for me. Cause when you hit the stage, I'll be jumping up again. Bring back your melody to have a hold on me. Cause you sweet so tall, I'm gonna be jumping up again. Everybody jump. Jump, 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 jump. Good night, comrade. Who could have predicted the irony of comrade, you ready? You no sound ready. Comrade, you ready? Friday's elections, you know.
Let them know we're ready for them. Don't tell them so, that's how we feed them. Let them know, we feed them with it.
You can't be tired. You cannot be tired. You ready? I can't hear you. You ready? We're voting them out. And we're voting the Labour Party in. And that will start right here in constituency number 3. Comrades, it's so good to see so many of you here this evening. Wow. Can I get a wow? Can I get a wow wow? Can I get a wow wow wow? Look at the crowd in here tonight. I know you're ready to do some jumping, but let's deal with some business first, and then we could rock the crowd. Because I could see all the way across to the other street. Well. What pan trouble in the place here tonight? In here, Rampack, and we're on an international big superstar artist. Because Labour is large and Labour is in charge. When the masses has decided that enough is enough, you don't need nothing to bring the people together. And so, comrades, it is my pleasure to be here in constituency number 3. And I am happy to report to you this evening that with your vote, number 3 will return red on election day. We have counted the votes already. And as long as we go out to the polls and vote, nothing can stop us in constituency number 3. Ready? Ready? We ready? We ready? We rolling with Labour. They try all kind of things to stop us in 2015. They try even more things to stop us in 2020. But thank God Almighty, the planes are coming in. The diaspora is out there. We large and we in charge.
Seconds, you ready? Yes, we ready now. Seconds, you ready? Yes, we ready now. Nevis,
they can't stop us.
We ready now. Nevis, you ready? Yes, unstoppable force. When we move as one. Let the
comrades, we gonna get there. We gonna get there. I know the DJ anxious. Because he was on a little vacation. But you're going to get your due. But we large and we in charge. They thought they would see how we were doing things. But they didn't know we're going to outsmart them. Comrades, at the beginning of April of this year, right around the corner here, we started a campaign full of energy. And I told you about a story when I was in Kuna in April. I told you that in Calypso, I had won a crown. And some people believe that they could do better with the crown on their head. And so for 2 years in Calypso, Konris did not have the crown. But then I decided that that was enough. And I went back. I retooled. I looked at what had happened. I listened. I crafted a strategy and a comeback for my crown. And the same thing will happen in constituency number 3. We had the Labour crown. And some did all kind of shenanigans to change the crown to another head. But after 2 years, come August 5th, which is 2 years, 2 months after the date, we will return the crown to the head of the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party here in constituency number 3. I declared then that I will go about and I will knock on as many doors as I could. I will speak to as many windows as I could. I said I would sit down on your couch. I will eat out of your pot. You will tell me your stories. You will tell me your concerns. And we will together craft a solution to revive constituency number 3. And I have now walked the breadth again of the constituency from Palmetto Point all the way in the western side of the constituency, coming through Garvey's and Boyd's and Abbott's, West Farm and Boys View, Trinity Hills, coming up through Camps and Ocean Gardens, Ocean Lawns, Mattingly Heights, Mattingly Farm, Bayview, Seaview, Buckley's Estate, Buckley's Site, Trafalgar, Fort Lands, Russell Village, Lime Keel, Hainsmith Village, St. Johnson Village, Buckley's Extension, Shadwell West, Shadwell Estate, and all of the communities in between. I have listened to what you have said. We have crafted a strategy to make constituency number 3 the envy of the entire nation. I visited you in your groups, in houses, on street corners. We also toured the constituency and visited the small businesses to engage you on what was important for you. And after all of this, thank you. After all of this across the constituency, the chorus that is sung is the same. That Konris Maynard is the man for number 3. Konris Maynard is the man for number 3. And this is not just now. From a long time. From a little boy. When my father used to put me on his shoulder and walk across Keon Street to take me down to camps, you remember? When my grandfather, who was a cane cutter, used to spend his time cutting cane in the Boyd's West Farm Points area. They call him Big John. And my grandmother, who they call Ellen, used to be a seamstress who sewed for many people across the village. I grew up in the St. Johnson Methodist Church, being involved in the choir And I see a former Boys Brigade member here reminding me of being a part of the Boys Brigade. And so, comrades, from very small, I have been a part of this community. Coming up now to get engaged with sports and being a part of the Haynes Smith Cricket Club. I see Sheikhs watching me. Tell them how much licks I done send you to the boundary. Getting involved with the Village Superstars Football Club. Because after coming from university, I realized then that it was important for someone like me who had had a national appeal already in Calypso to use that to help and mentor our young men in the area of sports. And that led that community involvement from very young to the time of being a part of the Village Superstars and beyond. And my time as a Calypsonian in this country talking about the social issues that are important to the nation. I sang about everything from parents to children to crime, social issues. I spoke about the dreams I had for my country long before politics. But then the opportunity came for higher representation. And I took up the challenge when asked by the people of constituency number 3. And I want to tell you a story that I remember as one of my first journeys here in the constituency as a potential representative for the people. It was just down the road by the children's home. I went to a house, and in that house was a young lady and a young baby. And she was sleeping next to a window that could not stop the rain from coming in. And I took it upon myself then to mobilize to get that window fixed such that the mother and the child could sleep comfortably in the bed. And when it was finished, that feeling of joy overcame me to know that I was able to lend a helping hand to somebody in need. And from then, I went on a journey to lobby the government of the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party to bring to its attention many of the issues that were prevalent in the constituency. Young men came to me, said they were interested in modern farming. So we got a greenhouse built in St. Johnson village. The school said that it needed painting. I arranged for a villager to get the job of painting the school. The fencing on Patsy Allers was dilapidated. I arranged for a villager to refence the Patsy Allers playfield. The residents of Limekeel complained that there was no lights on the field. I lobbied the government to get lights on the playfield until some of you in here played night cricket. I went to the community of Boyd's West Farm and Points. And for years they had been complaining that they had nowhere to play. And that there were promises and promises. And I went to the government and I said, the people of Boyd's West Farm and Points needs and deserve their playfield. And the playfield was built with a pavilion. Around that time, unfortunately, a young girl had gotten struck by a vehicle coming out of the Bronte Welsh Primary School because there were no sidewalks in the community. And so I lobbied the government to get the sidewalks built from the school through to the villages so that the children can walk safely after school. I went across to Palmetto Point, meeting a dilapidated community center that the residents could not use. I went and I lobbied the government to get the community center upgraded. And all of this, including business opportunities, paving of roads, building of townhouses and singular houses. All of this in just over 1 year with a supportive St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party government. 1 year. I was not in government. I was just a representative on behalf of the people of constituency number 3. And I was able to move the government to get things done. Because that is my determination. Once given a responsibility, I will complete it. I will find a way to get it done. And if I fall short, I am going to get back up and go again. You know the story. After I win Calypso a couple times here, I went down to Anguilla. And the first year, may win nothing. The second year, I still ain't win anything. And I told her, Lord bless his soul, went and singing his song that he done went back Anguilla, win back king, and I ain't win nothing. Well, I say, yeah. I went down to Anguilla early. I ain't take the flight that they give me. I make my own flight. I went in the bars, in the shops. I went to the shows. I went by the band. And I listened to what it is was necessary to conquer it. And that year, Konris Maynard won the crown in Anguilla. And since then, I have won the most crowns in Anguilla. So when I tell you that I will evaluate our community and identify what needs adjusting with your help, I will get it done. It is my nature. It is my spirit. It is the champion in me. And I want you to know, constituency number 3, that I will be a champion for you in government. You see, I have not had the chance as yet to serve you in government. When I won the last time, unfortunately, you know, the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party did not win the government. And our system does not afford members of opposition access to the budget of the government. Unlike in Jamaica, where opposition MPs have access to the budget of the government. They are given budget that they can do things in the community with government funds. We don't have that in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so all the dreams I had for my people of owning more homes, of building roads, of creating more job opportunities, small business opportunities, all of those were thwarted by a government who was not interested in delivering on behalf of the people, but interested in making sure that Konris could not get anything done. Go back to all of my speeches in Parliament for budget. I spoke about every single issue in this constituency. And I pleaded with the government not to forget the people of constituency number 3. But meanwhile, on the other side, you had a senator who was appointed in 2016 on the government side, replaced to be the deputy leader of the PLP, having a significant position on the government benches for 4 years, and then had the opportunity to become a minister of government for 2 years. So for a total of 6 years, the outgoing representative of constituency number 3 had ample opportunity to do transformational change here in constituency number 3. Now you look around for yourselves. Look around for yourselves in constituency number 3. What can Akila Nisbet claim? Nothing. Meanwhile, Konris, who was only there for a year with a Labour government, can show you his trophies. But instead, the outgoing representative chose to hide from the work. Just like she did when she was at Casper, collecting, I understand, $15,000 a month to only show up once or twice to sign her name and go back out. Well, then what do you expect? When she ends up in government, do you think she's going to just start to do work again? Somebody always tells me people don't change. They only become who they really are. And what power does people talk about power corrupting and so on. Power only magnifies what you are. So if you are a liar, power will magnify that. If you are kind-hearted, power will magnify that. All power is a magnifying glass. And so when we identify the flaws from early, I could tell you that all power will do will expand those. And so it's no surprise, for instance, what Timothy Harris has become. Because those flaws were evident long time. He greedy and selfish long time. I told you about a story one time. I'm talking to a businessman. And the businessman tells me, boy, he was relaying a story to Timothy Harris that his employees were stealing from him. And the businessman said, they even thieving me saltfish. Timothy watched the man and said, oh, you got saltfish? I could have some for my breakfast tomorrow. I kid you not. That is the nature of him. And all power does is magnify that. So it's no surprise to me that when a government gives 15 homes free to this country, he takes all, because power is a magnifying glass. And so that is why I want you to seriously look at Konris Maynard and his life before politics. How I was uniquely focused on positive nation building. How I have lived my life. The respect I have for women and my wife and my children. The life I have led in church and in community. The positivity of my music to uplift a nation. All power will do to me is magnify that. And so I'm asking you for that opportunity on August 5th to not only serve you as your representative, but serve you in government. Because all of those good traits that you know Konris Maynard has, the access to power in a ministerial way, will amplify the good that is in my heart. And so I was telling you that the outgoing representative has failed. And power has only magnified the incompetencies that exist. Look at our healthcare. In a total mess. No leadership whatsoever. A complete shame. And no public caring or sympathy with the people who have been suffering at the hands of a dilapidated healthcare system. And to hide the incompetencies, the outgoing representative has resorted to lies, telling bold-faced lies that are easily verifiable. And so I am asking you to put an end to that type of politics and elect someone who is upstanding and who will stick to his word and get the job done. There are so many complaints as I walk around the constituency. You see, the outgoing representative thought that she had a 5-year mandate. Well, in our type of governance, you are never ensured of no 5-year mandate. Election can be called at any time. And so you must hit the ground running right away. And she failed to do that in constituency number 3. She failed to do that in Boyd's West Palm and points that had put her over the edge. And so she will pay the price for that. And on August 5th, the constituency has told me, Konris, we are voting for you to return you to Parliament and to lead us in government. And so what do you have to look forward to as your next champion representative here in constituency number 3? All across the constituency, we know that there is an urgent need for housing. As I was speaking to some young men today, I reminded them of the program that we have called the Bundle of Materials, where we will give them a bundle of materials each step of the way to build their own home. We will provide access to hundreds of lots of land for our people who have yet to own a piece of land. Thank you. all of the talking, you know. In Shadwell, we are going to refurbish the Shadwell Cotton House into a community center and a museum so that the residents of Shadwell area can have a place to commune, but also a museum that can attract economic activity to the area. In the area of Boyd's West Farm and Points that continues to expand, we are going to have a multi-purpose community center that can feature a daycare and a preschool using the stakeholders in the community to operate and to run it. We are going to have the complete transformation of Lagreed. I've told you already, the outgoing representative thought that she could fool the people of Lagreed, invited them to a big ceremony, saying that she's going to give them the titles to their land. While they're in the meeting with their closed envelopes, here they are thinking that they now own the land which they have occupied and lived on for 30, 40, 50 years, until they went outside and opened the envelope to find only a blank copy of a COT, or certificate of title. Useless. You can't take that COT anywhere. You can't present it to a bank because it's neither stamped, signed, or sealed. And a letter was accompanying that blank COT, telling the people of Lagreed how much money they have to pay for the land, and telling them that if in a certain number of years they don't pay for the land, the government will take it back and give it to somebody. Well, if the land belongs to the people, how can you take it back? And so, when Konris Maynard is returned to Parliament and put in the government, the people of Lagreed must know that because they have occupied the land for 30, 40, 50 years, they will own the land. We will transfer ownership of the land from the government to them at no cost. All they have to pay is the transfer fees, just like we did right here in the village, where the persons who lived on the lands from the sugar estate housing were able to get the ownership of those lands transferred to them without cost, only paying the transfer fees. Comrades, without going too long, I will lead as the engineer in this team the transformation of our country to a green energy state by leveraging the abundance of renewable energy through wind and solar and geothermal and biomass. You saw earlier an ad there about the app. I will lead the transformation of our government to digitalize our government. And I had to show you by example, by having my very own app for constituency number 3. You can go to my Facebook and download it and see all of my plans in the palm of your hands. Yes, she says talk about the Buckley's Park where they had the Buckley's, where we will have a monument of the 1935 uprising. For small businesses, those of you who are crammed in small spaces, on your verandas, in your living rooms, we will give you a small business mall complex for you to operate professionally from. We'll provide startup grants and loans and concessions as you rebuild or start your new businesses. We are going to produce local and eat local. We are going to provide what is necessary to bolster our agriculture sector so that we can begin to feed ourselves instead of spending $100 millions of dollars on food that we can grow here but importing. Right here, just up the road, we want our elders and our indigent to age with dignity. And so we are going to transform the Carding home into a modern elderly care facility. We're going to remove the stigma associated with the Carding home. And you're going to want your elders to go there to spend their time and their leisure activities. One of the young ladies, I think, spoke of the transformation of the Limekeel playfield. The village superstars I want to declare. I wonder if Dr. Douglas is here. Since the 2020 elections, Village A beat St. Paul's. You know that? I said, since the 2020 elections, Village aim beat St. Paul's. I know you're from St. Paul's, you know. But I declare that when Konris Maynard returns to Parliament, Village gonna bang St. Paul's. The curse will be broken on August 5th. So all the players out there, get ready. Warm up yourself. The energy will be back and we're going to bang St. Paul's.
He's dead, never dead, live again. Man, I got them going by the breath. Man, they breaking a sweat. Hear them.
About never. Hear them over there. About never. Village is coming back. You ain't understand? It's Champsville we be, you know. Under the sea. Village was under the sea. But we're going to come back. Comrades, we're going to have recreational parks across Shadwell Estate, Camps Estate, and Buckley's Estate. Because those areas are so crammed, there is no room for the children to play. They have to play on the streets. But we give a commitment to develop those recreational parks in close proximity. We will develop the green spaces so that families can relax and have leisure time in the identified green spaces around the constituency. When this government went to office, for some unknown strange reason, they stopped the laptop program. We will bring back the laptop program for your children. And in constituency number 3, just like around the nation, our primary school children will get a laptop or a tablet. And I heard Dr. Jeffrey Hanley say, as the next Minister of Education, that even the preschool children gonna get their tablets. For our students who want to go off to study, we are giving a commitment of a $25,000 grant towards your studies, because we are serious that we want every household to have a graduate and more than one graduate. And so, comrades, as I wrap, we will ensure to pursue a good governance agenda, a real good governance agenda that will prevent the type of corruption and nepotism and greed and cronyism that we are seeing with this government. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the civil servants of this country. Because over the last 6 months or so, while there has been no leadership from the cabinet, the civil service has held the government together so it doesn't completely crumble. Put your hands together for the civil servants of this country. Because while there was no leadership from the top and breaking up of the cabinet, they did their best to hold the government together. And so we will ensure that we look after our civil servants by public sector reform to ensure that pay matches the work that they do. So, comrades, as we get a light shower of blessing here in constituency number 3, to welcome in the change that is coming on August 5th, I want to tell you that your only choice in this election is to vote for the A-team. Vote for Dr. Terence Drew and the A-team to form a stable government on behalf of the people of this country. On election day, I want you to put your X next to the hand and next to the name of Konris Gregor Menten Maynard. I want you to remember that name, Konris Gregor Menten Maynard, and ensure that we return to good representation here in constituency number 3. Comrades, as this shower comes down to blessing, I ask you to give the man for number 3 an opportunity to serve you in government. I am ready to serve you. I am ready to make a difference. I am ready to be your champion. And so I ask you, are you ready? Are you ready? I know the rain is coming, so we're going to have to put on some music. while we allow this blessing to pass through, I want to thank you and go out on election day and vote for Konris Maynard, vote for the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party and give us a clean slate to lead a transformational government here in this country.